Hello everybody and welcome back to Minecraft Hardcore. My name is Buzzy107 and today we are going to be getting some stuff that we need. We need an iron farm, we need to get us a blacksmith build. So, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so it is time for us to get started on the villager farm, and of course Leah's over here laughing because she can't help herself. But we're going to go ahead and head over to the villagers and grab at least 2 of them. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and head over to the village and get us some. Alright, so we have these guys over here, and we are going to need to take them over to our village. So we're going to have to go over to our area, so we're going to have to go over top of the villager outpost. So I got 2 leads. I'm going to go ahead and grab these 2 guys right here and here. Hop up onto our horse. Let's try and get them over there. We lost one, I think, but... And then once we get up here, I'll go ahead and go get the other one, and then we'll come back. Alright, this guy's here. Let's go ahead and get the other one. And we will head on back. So I will catch up with you guys when we get the other one back here. Alright, so I have both of these guys securely in here. We're going to go ahead and dig down 16 blocks, starting from this block right here. So let's go ahead and do that. And that is 2. Alright, let me get all the way down to the bottom and then we will come back. Alright, let's go ahead and try and get these guys in the hole. Alright. We're going to move over a few blocks and then we're going to get the other one dropped down. Alright, so I had the 2 villagers in place. I am currently preparing for the iron farm. I just gotta go ahead and get these walls changed out with the bricks so that I don't mess them up, because if we go into free cam real quick, this is actually right underneath of my mine. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and adjust that, but I also want to get this all set in so that we don't take a chance of accidentally breaking into that while we are mining. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then I'll come back to you guys when it is time to get the zombie in place. Alright, so we got a zombie friend here. Let's try and get him into here. And it's not going to work with 2 of you. Ouch. Dang it. Let's see. Alright, let's go ahead and name tag this guy. Alright. Now let's get back to our house before we get any more visitors that we don't need. Or we can just go in here and sleep in this little pond, which, by the way, I made a pond. And we don't have our boat on us. Or bed on us. Alright, let's make a run for the house. Alright, we're going to go ahead and sleep, and then we will get everything set up to get this guy to try and chase us. So I will come back to you guys once we get there. Alright, so first attempt failed. Here is attempt number 2. We're going to go ahead and get the name tag out. Oh. Well, that guy didn't go down, so that's one we can go ahead and take out. Alright, so let's go ahead and sleep, which we still can't do because we don't have our bed. So let me go ahead and get it to daytime. Let me close the trap door so that it won't despawn. Ouch. Let's go ahead and make it back to our house, and we'll sleep, and then we will go down, and hopefully the one that is in there right now with the guy that we named is gone, so that we can go ahead and get this farm rolling. Alright, so we have everything basically in place. I just need to get these two busted out and half slabs put in there, but I am waiting for the little villager to grow up before doing that. And then I'm going to have to put a trap door right in there, but I think since they are asleep right now, I will go ahead and do this and put this back. Oh, hold on, let's make sure that this is all the way up. And that can go back like that. And he is rightfully mad at us, but once we get all this stuff in and he can terrify the villagers, I think he will have a happy existence. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that one to grow up, and then we will add all the stuff that we need, like the slabs and the trapdoor, and then he will be good to go. So let's go ahead and wait for the villager to grow up. I'll get all that stuff ready, and then once that's all done, we'll come back and I'll add all that stuff in. Alright guys, so we went ahead and did some work off camera. I went ahead and got in the rest of the stuff here for the farm. I ended up having to put this zombie in a boat because for some reason it didn't act right when I was trying to put, you know, have him just standing there. But he's scaring the villagers, they're spawning golems. So far I haven't seen any interference with, you know, the area below it, but I am keeping an eye on that. So they have been spawning golems periodically. Sometimes you know, their AI gets a little buggy, and I haven't figured out why that is, because if I remove all of it they don't sleep, but if I don't remove all of it and put those trapdoors in, then they don't see him. So I don't know what's going on. So up here we have a auto dropper down here at the bottom of the farm. It actually is dropping all the material into a soul sand bubble column, which is bringing it all the way up here into this chest. So I'm not too worried. I mean, it is a single player world, so this should be more than enough iron for what we need. But I think that is a good start to the iron, well, a good finish to the iron farm. So what we're going to do now is we are going to get some materials together, and we are going to build us a blacksmith and possibly try and get us a zombie villager over here so we can cure them. But that might be a long-term goal. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get all these materials, and then we will get started on the blacksmith's house. Alright, as you guys saw in that time lapse, we did make a mud farm. And I kind of need this for doing some paths around here, so it's going to be part of the build, but it's not like the main part of the build. But I had a little bit of a change of ideas with how I want to run this. So my initial thoughts were I was going to make a nice two-story building and have it all through here. What is that? Oh. Yeah, my initial thoughts were I was going to have a big two-story building and have it all through here. But I'm going to go ahead and change that now. So I'm going to go grab some cobble. I think, yes, we are going to need some cobble. But I'm going to talk to you guys real quick before we get into it. I was thinking for the blacksmith, because the blacksmith is, you know, going to be in this lower district, that maybe he doesn't have a two-story house. Maybe he has a single-story house with like maybe a little cottage in the background somewhere if need be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build the blacksmiths out, and we're going to probably do a single level, but we're going to do the blacksmith's house, and then we'll decide from there whether or not we need to have a little bit more of a two-story or a single story, or you know how all that's going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and grab what I need from this chest, and I do need some of the mossy, because I do want to have a little bit of mossy in like the bottom layers, just because it is going to be close to that water, so moss would grow because the land's going to be a little bit more, a little wetter around there. So I want some mossy cobble and maybe like half a stack of mossy bricks. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the time lapse. Alright, and we are finished with the house of the blacksmith, and I wanted to kind of bring you guys in here at night to kind of show you what I did off camera. Now let's go ahead and remove our lanterns so it just brings in that darkness a little bit more. So I went ahead and added some lit paths around all of our area. Now I do need to put some in right here, but that'll come with time. I think I have I have a spot I can put it right here, and then that will have that whole path lit up. And I brought the path down under through this little breezeway that we have right here, and then it comes down, goes across this bridge that we built off camera. And yeah, I think that lights it up pretty well, especially at nighttime. Definitely gives a whole different vibe. And then over here we have our little path right here is where it stops, so I didn't really bother lighting up any more than that, but we have all of that lit up. And I think tonight, yeah, it's a new moon, so there's not going to be many mobs, so let's go ahead and go to sleep, and then we'll go talk about the blacksmith's house in just a second. Just went ahead and put that lamp on that post over there, but I wanted to go ahead and show off the dormers. I really like the way that these turned out, especially from the inside as well. Now if you look back here, you can see we have a little bit of a sheer cliff face. So I kind of incorporated the design I used over there, but put it over here as like a support for the leg of the house. And I did that before doing these, but I did decide to do kind of a similar support structure on these. And I really like the way they turned out. They look pretty cool. Look almost like a waystone kind of area, but you know, they're gonna be supports. And then up in here I used 2 gold blocks, some honey blocks, and some shroom lights just to give this a little bit of decoration inside. And then over here we put some bushes and some foliage in. And if we walk inside, I have 2 armor stands. One is gold armor and the other one is chain link armor. The gold axe and then the stainless and the steel axe, or iron axe. I mean iron sword. Excuse me. Gold axe and an iron sword. And then I put a bundle here as if, like, you know, that's the blacksmith's payment for something, or he got paid for doing something. And then I put in some little mini blocks, some mini gold blocks, mini barrels, mini coal ore, stuff like that. Put in some ores, and then this is actually a armor stand right here on top of the anvil, as long with the chain. And then this iron block is also a armor stand. So is this axe, but I think that those add a little bit of liveliness to it, make it look like, you know, this is something that the blacksmith uses on a regular basis. And then if we come up here, we added one of our dogs in here, like maybe he's the blacksmith's pet. And then we come in here, and this is how we access everything for our iron farm, which is actually working really well. And might get some automated sorting going on that, maybe even some auto crafting. But there's nothing in any of these barrels or any of these chests. They're just here for decoration. Might use them later on, I don't know. But this isn't going to be the only blacksmith in this village. So what I'm kind of planning is like a little bit of lore building, I guess. This is the main blacksmith of kind of the lower sector of this city that I'm going to be building. This is kind of like the lower region where we're going to have a lot more of like the working class, where, you know, the blacksmith. I'll probably do some sort of factory over here that produces bricks, clay, and all that. And then, you know, we'll have some farmers over that way and over that way. Maybe I'll tuck them back in here, because we have this wooded area right here. It wouldn't be too hard to clear out some of this area and put like a farmer in here, or maybe even have like a farmer, you know, back over here somewhere, kind of away from all the hustle and bustle. But yeah, I've got that kind of figured out. And then over here I plan on having like some sort of maybe some sort of storage area, like a warehouse or something. I want to make this kind of like the lower class, more working class area of the city. Over there towards the hillside there is probably going to be more, or on the hillside I should say, is going to be more of the upper class, because that's right in that flower forest, so I can do a lot of things with the flowers over there. And then, you know, we'll kind of have our middle class all through here, you know, with like libraries, stuff like that, maybe a potion shop and stuff. And we'll get all of that worked out, you know, as we go, because I'm kind of just doing this all on the fly. But yeah, I think the blacksmith turned out really good. I definitely like that gradient from that orange all the way up into that like light yellow. I think that works really well. But that's all we have time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.